I do have another national member if someone's taking the call. Oh, Simon O'Connor. Oh, look, sorry. I'm not trying to lead members, but I do have a script here and I'm just making sure that we... I gave similar encouragement to this side. There's no favouritism here. No, Simon O'Connor. So did I at one point.
Well, for the record, I'm not standing on behalf of the Labour Party as a plenipotentiary or anything. I just think it's important to... I know there's going to be a terrible disappointment to the other side of the House. Look, it was just interesting listening to the speaker from the Green Party. If you listen to the undertone of what was being said there, it's sort of a completely pro-Auckland approach, that we are prepared actually to drop the roading projects into other parts of the country in order to build a central rail loop for Auckland. If you listen once again very carefully what was said there, let's drop this project, let's drop that project, and focus it all on Auckland. And even as an Auckland MP, I think that's a little bit weird, because at the end of the day, this is the Parliament for New Zealand, not the Parliament for Auckland. And I think when we look at what New Zealand Transport is doing, and particularly through the roads of national significance, is an array of projects that are regional, which are operational, are national and are significant. So I know my colleague, Mike Sabin, up north, Mark Mitchell as well, along with what New Zealand Transport is suggesting, the Puhoi to Wellsford. Puhoi to Wellsford, very important. As someone who's originally come from Whangarei, I'm all for that. That's not about a holiday highway. That's about a highway of prosperity and opportunity. In fact, I can see here across the House this engagement with New Zealand First. Tracy Martin, she understands it as well. Projects through the Waikato, projects throughout the country, incredibly and vitally important. Things like Transmission Gully. Things like Transmission Gully. Was just driving back from Wanganui over the weekend, ran into the usual traffic issues and Nathan Guy's electorate through Otaki, and that, of course, the Green Party will stop that. We've heard that very clear. They are against Transmission Gully, and a challenge that has to come, of course, is for the likes of the Labour Party. Are they going to stand and fall according to the principles of the Green Party? So, Mr Chair, it's really important when we did go through the review with the NZTA, with the Transport our group, an understanding that it needs to be responsive to what New Zealanders want. Some of us are quite prepared to walk, to cycle. In Auckland, some of us are happy to take the buses and the trains, but there's also that reality check that kicks in that a lot of Kiwis take their cars. And so we need to be able to respond to that appropriately. So when I look at something like Tamaki Drive in Auckland, I think it's a very good example of what New Zealand Transport's dealing with. You've got people who want to walk, you've got people who want to cycle, people who want to take the bus. In fact, some people are even suggesting, Julianne, to take a ferry from St Heliers, people who want to take their cars. And the challenge for the NZTA, the challenge for this government and all governments, is how do you balance those needs of people? We even have the walking buses, a great initiative, including from one who was my former lecturer in geography, a great initiative, but this is not an initiative that is an absolute. If we fall into the thinking of the Greens, and if the Labour follows that too, they are falling into transport fundamentalism. At the end of the day, the NZTA are working across the board. Transport fundamentalism. There's the word for the night. Transport fundamentalism. This government and NZTA, as they reported back to us in the financial review, are there. They're working for what New Zealanders want. And I know that Kiwis listening in tonight do not want to buy into that fundamentalism, because they understand they want to drive their cars, they want to park them in the cities, they want to get around. That's the same for freight as well. They want to move around. And so we're going to avoid this fundamentalism. We applaud the work that the NZTA has done, is doing. It was an excellent review process. I think they gave a very strong indicator of why they are implementing the projects they are doing. And I just urge those looking at this review not to fall into that fundamental, not to take approaches like the anti-transmission gully, anti-roads approach, and take on the approach that NZTA and this government are following, which is about roads, about rail, and about cars.
So the question is that the report on the Transport and Industrial Relations Select Committee on the New Zealand Transport Agency 2011-12 financial review be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. We move now. I believe the next subject of interest is the Education and Science Select Committee